Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, a channel about making computer role-playing games using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. In this video, I would like to take a break from talking about my main project and talk about a side project which I've been working on for quite a while, but I haven't yet talked about on this channel. So I have a program up here, a Twine program, and it says Music Generator, and that's exactly what it is. It is a program which generates a piece of music in the form of a MIDI according to particular rules. Now, you've probably seen AI music sites like Suno. There's several of them. The way that they work broadly is that they have a huge database of pieces of music that other people have written, and the computer program is able to derive rules from common factors in these pieces of music, and then it creates a piece of music according to those rules. And the pieces of music have different tags. So one piece of music might be tagged classical, Beethoven, minor key, ominous, and then another piece of music might have hip hop, modern, gangster rap, etc., etc. And so when you, the user, put in a request or a query, it can concentrate on those pieces of music that have tags that match what you've put in, and therefore when you put in that you want hip hop, it gives you hip hop, and when you put in you want ominous classical music, it gives you ominous classical music. And that can give you some surprisingly good results, but it's not something I'm personally all that interested in, because it sort of feels, I guess partly because it sort of feels like it's not really me making something, it's just me getting the computer to sort of do a pastiche of stuff that other people have written, I guess that's probably why. I want to have sort of more involvement in the process. And so I'm interested in writing a program that generates music, but doesn't rely on data from any other piece of music. So it generates the music according to either just sort of common practices in Western music, and or just rules that I've given the program myself based on what I think sounds good, based on what's given me good results in different iterations of the program. And that's what this is. It doesn't rely on any data from anyone else. It just uses rules that I have programmed into it, some of which are sort of standard musical practice in Western music, and some of which are more sort of idiosyncratic to me, I guess. If you listen to this channel, you're probably interested in making a game, and you're probably interested in programming with Twine in particular. And so you might be interested in this program, firstly, because you might want background music for your game, and you might find that this program creates, music that you think is useful for that. And of course, you might be interested in it from the programming perspective, or perhaps the music perspective. Perhaps you know a bit more about music theory, and you'd be interested to look into that and sort of make changes to it and say, well, why doesn't he use more seventh chords? Why doesn't he use more dissonance? I think it would be better if he did this, this, and this. The answer to why I don't use it is usually just because either I haven't got to it yet, or I personally don't like the sound of it. I'm not trying to create a sort of universal music generator that can generate any kind of music. I'm trying to create something that will make music that I personally happen to like, I suppose. But in this video, I don't want to go through the code. I'm quite happy to go through the code. If people are interested, leave a comment. But in this video, I mostly just want to show you, tell you that it exists, show you where to get it, and show you how it works, which is very, very easy. And then I'll end with an example of music that it generated. So first question, where do I get it? Answer, link in the description. In every video, I put a link to my itch.io page. And in this particular one, I'll put a link to the page where you download it. It's gamebookgenerator.itch.io, so the same page as before, except that instead of clicking into Let's Make a Game, which is where the game stuff is, you click into Music Code, which is the one next to it. And then you download it as you would download any other file. So how do I use it? Well, it's very, very easy. Once you get the file out of your wherever your computer puts downloads, which in my experience is usually a folder that is called downloads, you get something like this on the desktop, the same as any other Twine program. You can just double click it to run it, or you can right click on it to run it in a particular browser if you want to. It will run in any browser and it will work exactly the same way in every browser. And the program just runs and downloads a file. There's no choices you have to make or things you have to set up or anything. It just runs for a bit, and then you'll get a little notification that you've got a download in your download file. And let's go into the downloads file and get this one that we've just created. Oops, sorry about that. It's always going to be called test, or if you have more than one, it'll be called like test bracket 1, test bracket 2. This is a MIDI file. You can just double click it and it'll run in whatever program runs your MIDI files. If you want to have a look at it, have a look at the actual score, like sort of analyze the music, unless you've set up the program you use for that to also be the program that you play MIDIs in, which is unlikely, you'll have to right click and load the program. I use MuseScore, which I'll link to again in the description of this. It's a free, pretty straightforward program. I'll just show you very quickly what the music looks like. So it sets it up as piano music. The way MIDI programs usually work is piano is sort of the default instrument. But once you have it in a program like this, you can always change the instruments if you want. There's one thing that I haven't done yet, and that is set up the time signature properly. I'm sort of getting advice over the internet from someone how to do that, because this program involves a lot of JavaScript and I'm not very familiar with JavaScript, so I had to actually just ask people how to do it. But at the moment, the program sets up things in 12/8 time, but creates a MIDI which is in 4/4 time. Sorry if you don't know music theory and don't know what that means, but it means that it's not quite set up to display properly. And so once you open it in a music program, you can change all of the things that you would change about any other piece of music. So you could move things up and down an octave if you wanted to. You could change the instruments, change the relative, like change the mixing, make a particular instrument louder if you wanted to, and so on. And then save it. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you can do what you want with the files. This is my permission to, you know, do anything except say that they're your work or sell them, I suppose. But you can use them in commercial games if you want to. But you know, just don't sell them as your own music, I guess. So that's sort of as much detail as I want to go into in this video. As I said, I'm happy to talk about the code if people want more detail. I really just wanted to let you know that this thing exists and that I'm going to be updating it, you know, when I get sort of the time and inclination. You know, I'm aware that it's not there yet. The music that it makes sounds very, for want of a better word, sort of mechanical. My girlfriend said it sounds nice, but it sounds like something that was written by a computer, I guess, by which she meant that it's very overly sort of repetitive and unvarying in her opinion. So I'm sort of planning to, you know, add more variety essentially between different outputs of it and within different outputs of it. So what I'm going to leave you with is and we won't save that. What I'm going to leave you with is I'm just going to run or play an example of the output of the program. And before I run that, I will say this, I didn't select this, like I didn't sort of run it 10 times and pick the best one. What I'm about to play is literally the first one that it outputted, where the formatting and stuff was what I wanted it to be. So this is like truly a sort of typical example of what you get rather than the best example of what you get. It doesn't go for very long. I mean, obviously you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to, but you know, it might give you an idea of the sort of thing that I'm aiming for. So I will probably get back to my main project in the next video. I'll leave it there for now. As usual, I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.